What up and welcome back to Boring Reviews.
I'm just waiting.
Jodi here.
Nick here. Man, she's paranoid.
And today we're reacting to another...
QI or key.
No, not Corky. What do you call someone who doesn't laugh? Oh.
Not Nick.
Sad. Sad.
Is that really a thing? There's people that don't. I mean, people that can't talk, people that can't hear, people that can't see, people that can't take a joke. But are there really people that can't laugh?
I guess we'll
or
find
just
out.
chooses not to?
I would think chooses not to, but I guess we'll find out.
I actually have a student, so I do.
Buzzkill.
I don't call my students that. I do a true or false quiz for my students the first day of school, and true or false is true about Mr. Peterson, this is not true. And one of the things is, will he make you laugh at least 100 times? Just like kind of like a funny thing, get him excited, we're going to have some fun. And I have one kid that's like, you're not going to make me laugh 100 times. And I don't think I've made him laugh like more than like 2 or 3 times, to be honest. And he even reminded me the other day, he's like, you're not going to get me 100 times. So maybe this qualifies as him. I don't know. He's a great kid, and I have seen him smile quite a bit. But laugh, I don't know if he's done that too much. So that's interesting. We're going to find out from the QI people, the key people, what the key information is. But if you like our reaction to this video, please don't forget to
like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be aware in the next upload of videos.
I think this video is going to be quite interesting. It's just my prediction. Just saying, you can doubt me if you want, but that's just what I'm feeling. Here we go.
What would you call someone who never laughs?
That bloke.
You're right. He hasn't cracked a smile all evening, has he? No.
He might be dead. Nudge him.
Yeah.
Are we looking for a phobia word?
Yeah. Age-elastic, meaning that they don't laugh. And there are people who
Age-elastic.
don't have it, who it seems have no sense of
Physically
humour.
can't laugh.
Well, who knows? I mean, there's a sort of epilepsy where you... a lot, which is an unusual affect.
Shock, that was shocking.
It's giving you a shock.
I've got an interesting sort of Greek-type word for something that I do sometimes where I can't help the sort of urge to do an impression of somebody. And sometimes if somebody's got like a limp or a bit of a funny walk, I kind of want to go along with it, which is a terrible thing to do. And apparently, when you do this thing of wanting to take on somebody's limp in an inappropriate way, it's called echopraxia.
Oh,
And if you do it with words, with trying to imitate a person sort of verbally, it's echolalia. That's great, isn't it?
I've never heard that before, but I honestly think I have that, and I'm not being a hypochondriac. Because if I'm around someone that has like a Spanish accent,
yes,
then I start to do this or that.
You do.
I notice it like halfway through, and I'm like, what am I doing? This is going to be really thought of as inappropriate or whatever, but I just start doing it naturally. I don't know. I think it's almost like a way for me to connect with that person, but I'm not doing it intentionally. It just happens.
Interesting.
What'd she say? Echo, not echolocation, but echo something.
Lathia?
Trying to imitate a person sort of verbally, it's echolalia.
Lalia.
Lalia.
That's great, isn't it?
Points.
Yes.
Points.
Isn't it great?
Brilliant.
Yeah, give it part there.
It's also, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's called taking a piss as well.
Yeah.
Well, it almost defines being a human, doesn't it, laughter? Because animals don't laugh.
Yeah.
They don't have that capacity to sort of
Hyenas.
do two things
It's
together.
very,
and
very
give you-
social as well. It's a very social sort
Yes.
of... People tend not to laugh on their own. Like, even watching a show as hilarious as this.
Yes.
At home on your own, you won't laugh in the same way as the studio
No.
audience. It's why people often think it's sort of canned laughter rather than you are
I
genuinely
would.
laughing at bits.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't if there were anybody here. But
Yeah.
Because there's that sort it's a very social thing. You're sort of
Yes, you're
showing
right.
someone else that you get the
Yeah.
thing and you understand.
Absolutely, it is a communal thing. There are people in history who are said to be age-elastic, including Isaac Newton, who was supposed to have laughed once in his life when someone asked
Well,
him
that
what...
all fell on his head.
No. Someone asked him what was the point of studying Euclid, and he burst out laughing at that.
Yeah, no, that is a good one. No,
That is a good one.
What is he like?
According to Marshal Zhukov, Stalin, next door, he didn't laugh. And
I'm
next
amazed
to
at that. He seems such a chirpy...
Absolutely.
and then
can't tell behind his
you've probably
moustache, he could be
spotted
chuckling.
Jonathan Swift and William Ewart Gladstone.
Jonathan Swift was a very funny writer, so...
I know,
Lots
it's
of
bizarre thought.
comedians don't laugh.
Spinoza.
You know, lots of comedians are quite miserable in real life, aren't they? Not us, obviously.
The bloke on the left and the bloke on the middle are the same.
On the left, he's been on the diet. Or
That's an advert for the Chin Gym.
yeah.
The one on the left is Isaac Newton,
That's Newton, right?
and the one in the middle is Jonathan Swift. Trollope, on the other hand, Anthony Trollope.
Couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, he died giggling, apparently. He laughed a lot.
Didn't he work in the post office? That's probably what
He did.
He went postal. He was,
Yeah, he invented the postbox.
yes.
And lived to
Wow.
regret it, actually.
Once he was in, he couldn't get out.
He was sorry for a very odd reason, actually. He was very old-fashioned about what women should and shouldn't do. And what he hadn't predicted was what the post office would suddenly allow women to communicate with anyone freely. Because before the postbox, they would have to go to their father or a servant who would put the stamp on, and it would be taken. And suddenly they were able to send their own letters and have relationships without their parents' consent. And he presented this.
What has he done?
It is a law of unintended consequences, exactly. Bizarre thought. Anyway,
Good
quite
old
irrelevant. There are theories of laughter. There's the superiority theory, which is the sudden glory we feel when we see someone suffer.
It's very
That's the
simple, the
crazy gang.
superiority theory, but a lot of people don't understand it.
Very good. There's the incongruity theory. It arises when the decorous and logical abruptly dissolves into the low and absurd. We wouldn't, farting well, want that. For example. Not that I would say that. The relief theory, which is Freud. The naughtiness of the joke liberates the laughter from inhibitions about forbidden thoughts and feelings.
That's watching Jackass for me, I do.
Yeah. You've written a book about it. What was The Naked Jape?
The Naked Joke. I wrote a book with my friend Lucy about jokes and the nature of jokes.
Did you come to a theory about...
No, I mean, they are all... You can analyse... There's all these different sort of theories from around the world, and they're all pretty much nonsense.
Yeah.
They all work in exactly the same way, though. All jokes are sort of two stories. So the first story makes you make an assumption, and then the second story makes you
Subverts it,
realise
yeah.
that the assumption was...
I like the one
erroneous.
that the Englishman, a Scotsman and an Irishman go into a pub and the barman says, what is this, some kind of joke? A sort of a meta joke.
Yeah. When I told them I wanted to be a comedian, they laughed. Well, they're not laughing now.
That is...
It's Monkhouse.
Bob Monkhouse, yeah. That's a brilliant
But it's hard when you're writing about comedy to make it funny as well. Were you trying to be funny as you went along, or did you just...
in the end, we just had to put a joke on every page, because some of it's a bit sort of more complicated. And there's a great quote about analysing jokes is like dissecting a frog. No one's that interested, and the frog dies.
Yes. Yes. Pulling up the roots of a plant to look how it works.
Yeah, and killing it as you do it, exactly. Anyway, agelasts are people who don't laugh at gags.
I would love for them to talk about moles in a garden, to tell you the truth. I want to know how to get rid of them. I'm so obsessed now with this. That's a previous video, if we haven't posted it yet, on Jasper Care we reacted to. It would be... I am someone that likes when people laugh at something I say or do. Full disclosure. Genuinely. Absolutely. That's why I love being a fourth grade teacher, because the audience is so easy to make laugh. But, it would be so hard if you had a best friend that was age elastic and they just never laughed at anything. It would,
Oh my gosh. That'd
because
be hard.
for people like me that enjoy that, I don't know if it would destroy my self-esteem, but it would make you have lower confidence in your ability to have a sense of humor.
Yeah. I just enjoy laughing, and I actually laugh on my own all the time. There's been
Me
a few
too.
times where, like, I've been reading something that's hilarious, and I'm laughing so hard in bed that I wake you up. There's been a few...
She gets these fits, and it's like... It actually kind of drives me crazy, because you're not in on the jokes, so you don't know what's going on. So you're like, do you want me to ask you what's so funny? Because you're laughing so loud?
No, it's just, it's so funny that you can't stop. And I try to hold it in, so I just start shaking. And then I just can't.
I don't allow any noise in my presence.
But no, so
whatsoever.
I just always laugh. But there are people who also laugh when they're uncomfortable or they're nervous.
Yes.
And they laugh. And I
We
tend...
watched that episode of Hell's Kitchen.
We did watch that. But I tend to do that sometimes when I get really, really uncomfortable or nervous. I don't think necessarily that I laugh, but sometimes like I start smiling. And I don't mean to, but it's like my body's way of trying to safeguard, trying to put up a wall, trying to put a fence, like really prevent me from crying. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to cry in front of you.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm trying to smile, and then it gets people even madder. Like they become more upset because you're now like, you know, like they're angry and it's like, why are you smiling? And you're not trying to. Anyway, but there are people, and I've had students too who like kind of start to laugh, and like when I pull them outside, they just honestly just start bawling, and I realize, okay, it's because it's their
Well, they're
response.
just masking it.
Yeah.
For me, because for me, laughter is just such a positive thing, and it's a great way to connect with people. If I meet someone for the first time, I'm more apt to laugh, even if things aren't that funny, just because I want them to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's doing the opposite for some people, who knows. Very, very interesting. I'm really interested in his book that he wrote about that.
Yeah.
with a writer friend or whatever. If you've read that book from Jimmy Carr, let us know. What do you think about that? If you like our reaction, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.
Goodbye.